It's time for Real Talk with Brian and Dan, the weekly talk radio show dedicated to discussing important real estate topics, plus insight into the local community. With a combined experience of over 50 years as local real estate brokers from the East Side Real Estate Team at Keller Williams Realty Bellevue. Here's your hosts, Brian Levitt and Dan Edwards.
Well, good holiday afternoon. It is Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW, Wednesday, December 18th, and we are so glad you're listening today, either online on our YouTube live stream or, of course, driving around in the wonderful holiday traffic. It looks like it's a tough one out there, according to the report and my visual scan of the traffic right now. So if you are interested, you can listen to any past podcasts anywhere that podcasts are found on Google or Apple Podcasts. Additionally, we post every episode on the eastsiderealestateteams.com's website and YouTube channel. Brian, we got another great show today.
We do.
I mean, this is the last one of the year that we're doing live. We are having two more that are going to be piped in the next 2 weeks, but feels like this one's probably, we saved the best for last, I think. It feels like it.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. All right. So today we're going to have Doug Peterson of Get Priority Straight, LLC, and Angel Barna with Troth & Co. Before we get to our guests, though, it is time for some Real Talk. Today's Real Talk segment is about what the housing report shows us from this past month and what to expect going forward, Brian.
Yep. November showed a fourth month of declining inventory, and the end result is that with less inventory in the market, we continue to have an imbalance of supply. And so we find ourselves in a market that still favors sellers. In November, the number of total active listings in King County dropped by 33.47%, from 5,241 to 3,487. That's a big shift, Dan.
That's a big drop,
Yep.
Yes.
On the east side, inventory decreased 39.96 year over year from November of 2018. This level of inventory decrease is strong. The effect it will have is less choice for buyers, and we will see more competition for homes and likely to drive prices up.
You know, Brian, we do these numbers every month, and I noticed in September as we were looking at this that these are year-over-year numbers. So what that means is it doesn't really reflect the seasonality as much as it's reflecting what's happening this year versus what happened last year.
Right.
So typically you're going to see a reduction of inventory this time of year period.
Correct.
But this reduction of inventory outpaces last year's.
Right. And that's the true measure.
Yeah, really. To kind of say where we stand now in the way of available inventory is 40% less on the east side than it was this time last year.
Right.
That's huge. Pending sales. Now, this is where it kind of gets even, it depends on how you look at it. It just gets tighter. Pending in November in King County, pending sales went up and closed sales were also up. And essentially, King County, they rose 9.2%, and pending sales were up 20%. So you're going to see those closes take place in January of next year. But to have a 40% reduction of actual available homes and a 20% increase, well, that means that your pace of reduction is accelerating. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, right. So King County closed sales were up 11.16%. On the east side, closed sales were up 14.61%. With the decrease in inventory and pending sales being up, less homes may be available in the coming months. Buyers looking for deals may not find them. Will have to search harder or wait until January. The median home sales price in King County is up 1.16% over last year to $612,000. And the median sales price on the east side saw a slight increase of 0.61% up to $830,000. And I think something to clarify for our listeners, difference between average and median. Median means half were higher and half were lower. So not the same, but we're seeing a shift upwards there.
Yeah, it's, I've got a couple of buyers that have been looking in Kirkland. I've got some buyers looking in the Seattle area, kind of Madison Park area. And the challenge for them started in September because they had a specific, obviously, most people have a specific budget, but also specific attributes, what they're looking for.
Right.
And less properties came available, whereas a year prior, you had a good choice. Buyers had choice. And this is kind of feeling, again, like 2015, 2016, 2018 all over again.
Right.
So how we really judge the pace of a market is on an absorption ratio, and that's a fancy term for how many months of inventory. If no new homes come on the market, how many months of inventory do you have left until you have 0 homes on the market? So a balanced market for those listeners out there is about 4 to 5 months of inventory. That's a balanced. I would say even 6 months is more balanced. That's where National Association of Realtors says a typical buyer gets a chance to look at 12 homes, and then they make a decision between 3, negotiate on 1, and get their deal. That's kind of a balanced market, what that looks like. Well, our current inventory in King County, the absorption ratio is 1.39. So we have 1.39 months of inventory. And on the east side, it's 1.3. So it's gone down from 2 points in, I think October was 2 and September was 2.5. It's gone down. It's gotten tighter. And that's not the same thing as seasonality. Sometimes seasonality can have something to do with it. But really, we're at a really, really sweet spot. What's it mean for home sellers, Brian?
What it means is the market is tightening up. Inventory reduction favors the sellers of good homes. There are still a few homes selling with multiple offers. We're not seeing as much of that as we were from what I'm seeing out there. Contingencies are not being waived typically. If you intend to sell your home, you need to be realistic in time frame and price. To be one of the homes that sell, you must have the best features and benefits for the price. So, Dan, what does it mean for buyers?
Yeah, for buyers, it means buckle up. It means get yourself ready for multiple offers. Whether that happens or not, it just means that there's not going to be a lot of room for a bunch of concessions.
Fishing expeditions.
Yeah. And honestly, we talked at our team meeting today. We talked about what the overall projection, and Seattle right now was just ranked the #1 fastest growing metro area in the United States in places over 2 million. We had Pat Stone on a while back that talked about hey, our economy for the foreseeable future in the Northwest based on the diversity is strong. So if you're thinking about getting in the market, it's going to be a challenge, but rates are really good. Your affordability is good. There may be some folks that thought about investing or about getting into real estate or bought something in 2015 that now want to get their dream home. It's going to be a really good year for that.
Right. And that move up will free up inventory for people on the lower rung of the ladder too. So that's good for our market.
Yeah. New construction is a good way for a current move up buyer to purchase something and then go ahead and sell their house, because there's usually about a 3 to 6 month run time from the time you purchase,
which gives them a great chance to get top dollar.
Awesome.
For their place. Yep. So that concludes our Real Talk for today. If you're interested in this and other topics we've covered in our Real Talk segment, please check out our blog at the eastsiderealestateteam.com/blog. If you'd like to talk to us directly, we'd be delighted to answer your questions. Feel free to call us at 425-200-4093. Thanks for listening. Up next, we'll be speaking with our lender for our Mortgage Moment segment. Stay tuned after the break for more about the market with Aram Matasovov, an experienced loan officer with Movement Mortgage. We'll be right back.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093. Or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Do you wonder where all your income is going, even though you're making good money? Doug at Get Priorities Straight will coach you to know where all your money is going, painlessly cut financial fat, and get your money serving you. Doug has spent over 20 years mentoring professionals and found personal finances to be hugely overlooked in every stage of life. If you want to learn more and get your money serving you, contact us at info@getprioritiesstraight.com for a confidential conversation with Doug. It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Is navigating your healthcare options challenging? Angel Barna with Troth & Company helps businesses and Medicare-eligible individuals navigate often complex healthcare options. Let us be your partner in healthcare planning. As a broker, we are your advocate and work for you. Get non-biased, straightforward options by calling 425-616-2867. Troth and Company, your partner in healthcare planning. 425-616-2867.
Tell your friends about Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan, and it is now time for our Mortgage Moment segment. During this segment, we like to visit with Aram Marastova with Movement Mortgage, and we're going to be talking about self-employment mortgages. So there's a lot of folks out there that run their own business, they're self-employed, and mortgage can be a challenge. So we're going to talk about that with Aram today. Welcome to the show, Aram.
Hello, Brian. Hello, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Ram, who is considered self-employed?
Well, self-employed is anyone who owns their businesses and also, believe it or not, are employees who work for companies but are contractors. It's not uncommon to see IT people going and working as 1099 instead of W-2. And so they technically do not own any companies, but they're on contract, and so they're considered self-employed.
So 1099 is kind of a clue, if I'm hearing you right. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So what is the qualification or calculation method? How does somebody use a qualifying income then for getting pre-approved?
Yeah, that's something that we calculate. We have templates where we have to figure out based on tax returns what's the qualified income. And in essence, income brought home is one thing, but the qualified income will be based on how much you earn, what's your cost of goods sold, and depreciation, and what your deductions are. So we calculate that based on your returns.
Tax returns.
Yep.
So that kind of answers what I was wondering. Since self-employed buyers don't have pay stubs, they have their 1099s, you use the tax returns. What are you specifically looking for on the returns?
We're looking for write-offs. We're looking for gross income brought in, write-offs, and that's where one of the things that self-employed people have a little bit more control of what they can show. Mm-hmm. And for those people who are interested in refinances or purchasing, they definitely have to be ready and prepare.
What is the biggest misunderstanding that self-employed buyers have about qualifying their income?
The biggest is when they are surprised that their qualified income is far less than what they anticipated to be. And they do not take into account how much they write off or wrote checks to subcontractors, and then they're thinking they made $250,000 a year, but then once you calculate their qualified income and it's $24,000 a year, that's a big difference. And so in order to be prepared, I would strongly recommend consulting with a loan officer and also let their CPA know about their goals and what they're planning on doing.
A follow-up question on that is a lot of borrowers that I talk to, they're thinking about buying a home, and they I don't want to say procrastinate, but they really don't want to open up the kimono, right? They don't want to go and visit with a financial person to sit down and do a loan application because they believe that somehow that's going to create a vulnerability, right? They're going to have to show their stuff. So how can somebody get over that and really utilize, Aram, what you provide as a consultant?
Yeah, I always compare the scenario to children who are afraid of dark. And, there's obviously nothing in the darkness, but children are scared of it. And the same thing, many people are afraid to look into their own finances and don't want to do it. But I think the biggest thing to do is knowledge. Know before you start doing anything. There's nothing scary about it. You have to empower yourself with the knowledge. And the best thing to do is to get consultation. It doesn't hurt anyone. And the worst thing will happen is that you will know you're not ready.
Is it going to cost them money or something to talk to you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So what I'm thinking about is getting ready to buy. Are there specific things they should do other than schedule a meeting with you?
Yeah, if they're interested, if they're ready to, we definitely look at the credit. But when we pull credit, it doesn't cost any money to them until they close on transaction. Then we charge for credit report fee. But other than that, to get pre-approval, it costs them absolutely nothing.
And do you run around telling everybody what everybody else's credit score is?
No, I don't. It's discreet information. So
It's confidential, right?
Yeah.
See, that's the part of
Absolutely.
me. It's like, why wouldn't you sit down and just find out? And I
Yeah.
so many people that's like, they want to open that kimono. They're like, I don't know. And it's just information, right?
Absolutely. It gives them certainty, it gives them knowledge, and they know better, and it gives them an idea how to be prepared. So that's another thing. If clients are not ready now, I always advise them what steps need to be taken
Yeah.
in order to be prepared and ready to buy.
Awesome.
Sounds good. How do our listeners get a hold of you?
They can call me at any time, and my phone number is 425-988-4123. They can find me online. If they Google my name, I'm all over the website.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Aram. It's been
You're
very
welcome.
informative.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
All right. Next up after the break will be Doug Peterson with Get Priorities Straight. It's going to dovetail right into this conversation. Doug will be talking to us about how it's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. We'll be right back.
Did you know when you pay rent, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage? Are you tired of missing out on owning your own home? Fact: homeowners on average have 40 times the financial net worth of renters. The Eastside Real Estate Team has been helping many first-time homebuyers find and buy their first home. They specialize in customer service and put you first. They listen first to what you're looking for, and then they take the time to make sure their clients understand every aspect of the home buying process. If owning a home has been your dream, the Eastside Real Estate Team can help you. For a free, no-hassle consultation, call 425-200-4093 or find them online at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Is navigating your healthcare options challenging? Angel Barna with Troth & Company helps businesses and Medicare-eligible individuals navigate often complex healthcare options. Let us be your partner in healthcare planning. As a broker, we are your advocate and work for you. Get non-biased, straightforward options by calling 425-616-2867. Troth & Company, your partner in healthcare planning. 425-616-2867.
Do you wonder where all your income is going, even though you're making good money? Doug at Get Priorities Straight will coach you to know where all your money is going, painlessly cut financial fat, and get your money serving you. Doug has spent over 20 years mentoring professionals and found personal finances to be hugely overlooked at every stage of life. If you want to learn more and get your money serving you, contact us at info@getprioritiesstraight.com for a confidential conversation with Doug. It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Wherever you go, Alternative Talk 1150 is here for you.
Welcome back. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan. Our first guest today is Doug Peterson of Get Priorities Straight. Doug found a passion in his own business at a young age and has done this passion ever since. In 2001, Doug began coaching and mentoring high-income earners to improve business results and find more satisfaction in life. While he has experienced the fruits of success, life has not been without bitter taste of occasional failures. Doug prefers to think those setbacks are as an MBA, which he learned a lot and chose not to retake those classes.
Yeah, School of Hard Knocks.
Right? At this stage in Doug's life, he has noticed an opportunity to make bigger, lasting differences in the lives of his clients. Doug created GPS to help navigate his clients safely through some life's greatest challenges. Get Priorities Straight, or GPS, was founded out of the passion for positively influencing people's lives through personal finance coaching. Their aim is to revolutionize how you raise money, replacing worry and scarcity with peace and abundance. It's a comprehensive, breakthrough personal finance system. You'll have money when you need it, and your funds will be supporting the priorities and values that drive you. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, before we jump into all the formalities and talking about GPS and your passions, tell us about your hobbies and interests. What do you like to do when you're not helping people keep more of what they make?
Well, one thing I've done throughout my life, I started teaching sailing when I was 16.
No.
and I've sailed boats around the Puget Sound for a long time, raised my family on a 36-foot Columbia. We didn't live there, but we sailed a lot in the summers.
Awesome.
And a lot of crabbing, a little karaoke. I came out of the karaoke closet about 15 years ago.
There's a closet?
Apparently.
Totally.
That's pretty funny. Brian's a sailor.
Yeah, I've got some questions for you. I'm working on head sail trim, so we'll have to chat after the show.
All right.
That's
So we'd
awesome.
like to ask each guest to share a fun memory about the home you grew up in. Tell us about that.
So this is just coming out of reconnecting with an old high school buddy. And we were friends in grade school and junior high. And we got caught smoking cigars at 12 years old, 13 years old.
How'd that work for you?
In the basement. Yeah. And it's just wafting through the house. And just, it's kind of funny. This guy is now the manager of Pearl Jam.
Oh.
And he's just as stupid as I am. He got busted for smoking cigars in the house.
Oh, funny.
Did you guys not know that smoke goes up, or?
Brilliant young men.
It's I've always said that to my son is the IQ when one or more of you gets together actually diminishes. It's not it's not an exponential. It's the opposite effect.
But we could sneak out the window. So it was ground level. That was useful.
Very good. So tell us more about GPS. Why are you what brought you? And I told a little in the intro, but give us your why there.
Well, I've been self-employed for 37 years, and I've had lots of ups and downs. And I think all of us, if we live long enough, we can say we've had several ups and downs. And so I have learned by trial and error, how do you stay afloat? And I've had some really good years, and I've had some tough years. And I just decided that there was a really underserved area in helping people master their finances without selling them a financial plan, without investing their finances and making a profit, without selling them product, with the sole purpose of helping them master their finances. So in 1995, I created a program which failed. It was just too much work. It was spreadsheet based. And now with technology, I use another program called YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget. And then I implement it for people instead of teaching them how. I actually implement it and hold them accountable and get the system working.
Interesting. So why don't people do it themselves? I mean, you did.
When you think about budgeting, which really, that's a bad word. It's kind of
it's
like
diet.
Yeah,
Right,
totally
right.
like diet. But really, it's just telling you what you want your money to do for you.
Right.
And when people do that, they sit down and do it once. They get a snapshot for today, and then tomorrow it's obsolete. So I have a real-time system that is always 100% up to date. You know exactly where you stand. And who wants to go back and start over and get it up to date again?
Right.
So it's building it into a system that's easy to manage, takes little time, and in less than a half an hour a week, you can manage all your finances, you can budget them, you can balance all your accounts. How many people do that here? I won't ask for a show of hands. And know exactly where your money's going every month.
Yeah.
Half an hour a week.
I know for me, it's systems. Couching this a little bit is that I've always believed that I'm a little bit of a free spirit. That's kind of the way I feel myself. Like I'm kind of like, hey, why don't we go do this tonight? Or hey, why don't we go here? Or oh, it's last minute. I know it's last minute, but hey, son, do you want to go to Montana for a week? Yeah. Like that's something I pride myself in being that way. And what I found is from an aspect of making money that doesn't suit you very well. And so I have created systems for myself that put me in a position of, okay, if I need to sell a certain amount of homes or talk to a certain amount of people, I need a system that locks me into doing that, that can hold me accountable without me having to think about it. Because if I have to think about what I have to do every day, I get overwhelmed and walk away. So as I see, some of the things that you've discussed is, it sounds like you're taking that anxiety away of, oh my gosh, we got to do a budget or we got to do a diet, and saying, let's figure it out logically. But is it just budgeting?
No. You need to know where your money goes in order to have any left, right? A lot of people look at their money and spend money each month and really are surprised that it costs that much. So knowing and deciding where your money goes before you spend it, if it's part of it, but also getting clear on what's important to you. Mm-hmm. There are people out there that are saying, just don't buy lattes. They're too expensive. You need to spend money on everything that gives you joy and you want in life, but quit wasting money on things you just don't care about. And if you don't know
Right.
where it goes, how many people have subscriptions for something on their credit card they don't use?
Yeah.
So
Just about everybody.
Yeah, most
Are
people
you
do.
asking us directly? Because I'm not going to answer that.
Hey, Diane, are you listening? So what kind of outcomes do you get?
I have had people increase their credit scores by 125 points within 3 months of getting started. Have had them reduce their interest rates from 16.8% to 3.5. Had them go from one fellow only making $50,000 a year, went from $4,000 in debt to $5,000 in the bank in 9 months. It's amazing the difference when you know where it's going. The other big thing is I've had marriages change.
I was going to ask you
Overnight,
about
yeah.
couples. Yeah. How does that work?
It's often emotionally loaded to say you're spending too much. Compared to what? Now, you talked about wanting to do things spontaneously.
Right.
If you've decided that we're going to travel and we're going to have money for Christmas and we're going to have entertainment money and we're going to have money for wine and wine clubs and money for home improvement, and you decide you want to do something else, you just say, which bucket do you want to take it out of instead of you're spending too much. Now you're only spending money you have, and it's much less emotionally loaded to say, which bucket does that come out of?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious. A story about people managing their money poorly. What's a disaster you've handled?
Oh, it doesn't matter what income level people are at.
Right.
Geez, I wonder if any of my clients are listening.
I hope so.
Don't mention any names. Change the names to protect the innocent.
I'm going to switch
Or
this
guilty.
to a story that is about my in-laws.
Yeah.
And they're no longer with us, so this
Okay.
one's safe. But my father-in-law would always complain about my mother-in-law just spending money on shoes. And 10 years into their marriage, he said, how can you buy any more shoes? You got plenty of shoes. I've had these shoes since we got married. She literally took the shoes and bronzed them.
Oh,
She said, you'll never need any more shoes.
oh, funny.
Funny. Oh, my gosh. So
I have a shoe.
you do.
I
You have
really
one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
If
funny.
you look at my website, you can see it on a podcast.
Oh, that's great. So what's the biggest difference between how people use their money before working with you and how they use their money after working with you?
It's really just awareness. People make very different decisions when they know what they're doing. So instead of at the end of the month going, hey, gosh, I'm tired. It's been a long month. Let's go out for some sushi. We look at our checking account balance. We got $1,400, should be fine. And then the bills come and you realize you had an insurance payment due and a couple other things due. If you look at the system that I'm doing, you'll realize you had $14 in your entertainment fund. You'll pick up a DiGiorno's pizza and you'll still have a good time, but you won't have the stress later.
Yeah.
So what do you do with people that have a lot of debt? How do you help them?
Well, the best thing to do is first analyze their situation. If people don't have income, I can't help them. But if they have income, I can make a difference. It just depends on people's choices.
Right.
And around debt, we can restructure things. I have taken 401ks, got loans against them, cars and trucks and got loans against them so that it went from unsecured to secured, increasing their credit score, allowing them to get a second mortgage, taking the second mortgage, allow them to refinance their house and get their payments down compared to their income so that they could afford to reduce their debt, but also reduce their debt at a rapid rate. I've taken one woman who had $32,000 in debt. We refinanced a car, got it to 4.2, and then we got 4 zero-interest credit cards and got it down to zero. Ended up being about 2% a year to pay off her debt.
Well, we were talking before in the green room, we were kind of talking about, all right, there's a lot of folks out there that want to buy a house, but and even when we were talking with Aram, right, and they're just not looking at their finances, right? And we were talking about how oftentimes they'll go and they'll talk to a lender and they'll say, your debt to income ratio is too high. Come back when it's better. Or your credit score is too low. Come back when it's better. Doug, how can you step in and help guide somebody into a situation where they can actually maybe for the first time recognize owning their own home?
Well, it's a phased approach. And as I mentioned a little earlier, looking at assets and what you can refinance, But it's also just being creative. Do we have family members that can help or want to help? Do we, if we're self-employed, are we trying to get tax deductions? When so many people don't understand that a tax deduction isn't always a lot of cash in your pocket. It's usually a bigger expense.
Yeah.
I'd rather keep the money.
Right.
Cash flow is king.
Yeah, cash is king.
Cash is king.
So it's really teaching people how this works, because it's really just a game.
Right. So what I'm hearing you saying is learning how to control your money instead of your money controlling you. Is that,
or deciding, John Maxwell said, decide where you want your money to go, or you'll wonder where it went.
Yeah.
And if a home's really important to you, and traveling, and the new car, you're not going to get the home as fast.
Right.
If you focus on one
Priorities.
thing and really want to get into a home, you can really accelerate the process.
Interesting.
It's like getting your priorities straight.
Right.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
What's that? That's crazy.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, I know for my wife and I, Diane does a wonderful job. She handles all of our finances, and giving is important to us. And we found by getting a handle on our finances, we've been able to be more generous givers. So that's been good for us and good for the people around us that need help.
Yeah, and that's a huge driver for people.
Yeah.
They often really want to give more and support more. And when you've been blessed, it's really nice to be able to share that.
Be a blessing. Yeah.
So what's one thing you would tell people to do after hearing this message? What's your takeaway? What's your advice?
Well, whether you work with someone like me or not, I would really encourage people to master this part of their life. Stephen Covey said, if you're going to change the world, clean your garage first. This is so foundational.
Mm-hmm.
You'll eliminate so much stress. If you can start living on 2 paychecks ago instead of the next 2 paychecks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And most people just paying their credit card on time, the balance that's owed are usually paying off what they bought 30 to 60 days ago. So get on top of your finances and give yourself good reserves. And if you're self-employed, you need reserves in personal and business.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us on the show today. How do our listeners get a hold of you?
You can either visit my website at getprioritiesstraight.com, or you can reach me at doug@getprioritiesstraight.com.
Awesome. So do you have any special offers for those that are listening today?
That'd be great.
Yeah.
How about let's make something up?
Yeah, free phone consultation.
Free phone consultation.
No, well, of course, I meet with anybody confidentially for free.
There you go.
If they
There
have
it
any
is.
questions. But I also guarantee my work.
Oh,
3
awesome.
weeks into the process, if you're not happy, I'll refund the entire amount, or you can prorate it, depending on what you'd want to do if it's not for you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
So after the break, we will have Angel Barna with Troth & Co., and we will be helping you to figure out whether you have enough personal assets to cover your expenses when in a health crisis. Come on back after the break.
Not sure if now is the right time to sell? Worried you missed the market? The Eastside Real Estate Team specializes in helping homeowners maximize their equity when selling. With our proven premier listing service, our clients have sold their homes for more money in less time than the competition. We know you have many choices when working with a real estate agent, but with the Eastside Real Estate Team, you get a team of highly qualified, experienced agents. From staging to deciding if your property is market ready for top dollar. If you're considering selling, call the Eastside Real Estate Team at 425-200-4093. Or check out our website at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue. Do your walls have the doldrums? Why not fix that with some beautiful original artwork? Give your friends and family something to talk about, ponder, and enjoy. Lavish some beauty on them and yourself. You deserve it. Pamela Beer has helped countless clients find the inspirational piece to evoke just the right memory or feeling to their space. Art consultant Kathy says,
Pam's artwork is uplifting, colorful, and highly imaginative, always providing enjoyment and hope to patients and staff in our many hospitals and clinics. Her sense of joy and her commitment to her sense of color and design just add extra enjoyment to everything she does. Thank you, Pam, for all the healing that your artwork gives to the world.
to learn more, follow or message Pamela on Instagram at Pamela_K_beer or Facebook at Pamela K. Beer Art.
Fall is a crucial time to have your vehicle inspected, starting with the 4 B's: batteries, brakes, belts, and blades. Cold weather only makes existing problems worse. A fall maintenance checkup may also include changing your oil, flushing your cooling system, cabin filters, and inspecting the heating and exhaust systems. Michaels can help get your vehicle ready for fall. Don't let ugly car problems ruin the beautiful season. Learn more at www.michaelsautorepair.com.
Find out the latest about your favorite shows on Alternative Talk 1150. Check out 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 AM KKNW. I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan.
Our next guest is Angel Barna of Troth & Company. Angel Barna is a health insurance broker who brings years of insurance expertise to all of her clients. I know that because after we had her on the show last time, I became a client, and I have loved working with her. She's helped hundreds of businesses and individuals over the years. Angel empowers business owners, Medicare beneficiaries, and individuals navigate the rough waters of healthcare. She takes her clients from a place of confusion to confidence and understanding. By taking the time to personally understand each client's individual needs, she tailors options and solutions that meet both their goals and budget. Angel, first and foremost, is a proud mom of 2 kids and a dog lover. In her spare time, she enjoys watching her daughter compete, flower gardening, spending time in Westport with her kids crabbing, and I wonder if that's catching crabs or just listening to them be crabby, and beachcombing. Welcome to the show, Angel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, what does your daughter compete?
So Ashlyn does soccer, and she does some kickboxing, which she's kind of banned from due to a back injury, but she's a really good goalie. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Angel, you are a return guest.
Yes.
But still, some listeners may want to get to know you. Now that you're done with annual enrollment, what are some things you have free time to enjoy?
I actually don't have any free time.
Oh, you don't?
I love the idea.
Yeah, good concept, huh?
Yeah, I don't. I just opened a new agency, and so that's taking up a lot of my time, and the transition has taken up the rest of my time. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, do you have plans for the holiday? You going to at least kick back and relax a little bit?
Yeah, my parents are going to come up, and I'm cooking, and
Nice.
it's going to
Nice.
be so nice. Yeah.
What you cooking?
Okay, my dad's he's a 30-year meat cutter, so we're doing prime rib. Every year we do prime rib.
Nice.
So, yeah.
30-year meat cutter? You mean every holiday for 30 years?
No,
or
my
just...
dad cut meat for 30
Oh,
years.
he did? He was
wow.
literally a
Yep.
butcher?
Yep.
Nice.
So we
Cool.
we're every Christmas prime rib.
Give me
yeah.
some solid cuts of beef there. That's awesome.
You got a butcher shop you like?
No, I actually just beg and plead with whoever's behind the counter to help me.
Oh, there you go.
And sometimes I'll talk with my dad. I'll call him on the phone and I'll snap photos and send to him because I don't know what I'm buying.
Fisher's
Oh,
meat
funny.
in Issaquah.
Oh, Fisher's is
the
good.
best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So since we're talking about holiday and holiday memories, and again, you've been on the show before, so we went down memory lane, but I want you to narrow it into a holiday memory here of the home you grew up with. What were some of your traditions that you remember fondly?
I always, I remember trying to stay awake, but then I would always get up in the middle of the night and grab my stocking.
Oh,
So I always hacked into that before Christmas.
Oh, you're funny.
I just waited for them to, finish up, and I would
For
just
Santa Claus to drop it off, and then
I would
boom.
just grab my stocking and rifle through it, and then in the morning,
Oh, fun.
yeah.
Awesome.
Your company is called Troth & Company. What does
Mhm.
Troth mean?
Troth means commitment and loyalty. It's so exciting to me. I'm so proud of it, and the loyalty and commitment is what I have for my clients. If you work with me, you understand it's a partnership, and being a broker means that I can serve you in this amazing capacity where we can take you to the right carrier that's the best for you. It's going to give you the best benefits. We can help you with your health care costs, and it's all for you, because I work for my clients, not the carriers. So it's a great opportunity to build that into the name of the new agency.
Awesome.
That's nice. As a client, I would say that you talk the talk and walk the walk. It's just been terrific working with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think
Appreciate it.
everybody reflects that sentiment. And so as you look at this is your company now.
Mm-hmm.
You've opened up your doors because of this philosophy of that loyalty to your clients. So what are the menu of services that you offer?
I do Medicare planning for individuals who are Medicare eligible, 65 and older, or sometimes you're Medicare eligible if you are on disability for more than 2 years. I also do healthcare planning and employee benefits for small groups. So a small group for me is an employer that employs fewer than 51 full-time employees per calendar year.
Okay.
So what roadblocks do you see employers facing in offering or not offering health care?
Number one is cost. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
feeling it. Everyone's talking about it. We're all talking about it. Every year at renewal, the cost is huge.
Right.
So the cost is going to come into play somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the top roadblock.
That's what's keeping employers from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then what are some of the thing that employers can do to be able to either afford it or improve what they can afford to the consumer or to their employees? Yeah.
So there's a few things you can do. You can do cost sharing with your employees. There's a lot of great things you can do. The cost sharing can reduce your payroll taxes.
What's cost sharing?
So cost sharing is depending on the amount of employees you have, your employee can pay a portion of their health care as well.
So is there a certain number of employees you have to cost share, or?
It depends on the carrier. So
Okay.
it's based on the carrier's underwriting guidelines.
So it's the carrier's, not the employer's prerogative.
No, it is the carriers, yep. Well, the employer can say, hey, we're going to cover 100% of the employees. We'll cover 50% of your kiddos and spouses. So that is an option for the employers as well.
So what's new in the healthcare market?
What I see in the small group market right now is a product that I love that hasn't really been talked about. They're not buying out big advertising at Questfield. But there's a self-insured product for the small group market, which is great. Because when you think of self-insured, you always think of big companies like Boeing. And so for the little guy, it's never been an option. It's not something you thought about. You would assume that it's not an option for you as a small business owner, but it is. And typically on these plans, you're going to see rates that are 30% less. They're more benefit-rich. There's no balance billing on them. And depending on the use that you have with your health care, you can get, 30 to 50% of your premiums back.
So what does that look like?
Wow.
Self-insured. That means I pay my own medical bills and get reimbursed, or I'm a sole proprietor or 1099 individual, and I'm essentially insuring myself.
So you can be a 1099 in this market where you're not in the traditional healthcare market. This is a product that's got funding built into it. So a portion of your premium is going to go to pay for the healthcare expenses that your group has.
Okay, got it. So basically, part of your premium is used to pay for expenses.
Stop loss coverage, yep.
I gotcha.
So it's a great, it is a great opportunity for some of these smaller companies that are saying, hey, look, we don't have the budget for it right now. Because it is a pretty big expense.
So then,
Right.
do they go to major carriers?
They are the carrier.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what's the name of them?
So the carrier that I work with is National General. They've been in business over 100 years. They're a great carrier, but they're not the carrier that's splashing their name all over Questfield. You're not going to see a ton of advertising. They're not running spots.
But like, if I go to my doctor and I got to double check they take this carrier, is there a high probability they're going to take that? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And
I think that's the concern, right?
Yeah, there's no network on it. Yeah, that is the concern if you haven't heard of it, because it is a little bit different than your traditional staying inside of a network and
PPO.
Yep.
I don't know. I was going to throw a bunch of other letters around, but I can't remember what they are. And so I mean, because that was a big deal. Lisa, my wife, our insurance switched, right? So we had to make the calls like, hey,
Right.
eye doctor, are you guys on this one? And hey, are you on that one? And all that stuff. And if I can't get my crazy pills, I get really crazy.
Yeah, we want to make sure you
Just
don't run out of that.
Just joking.
Oh, really?
Sorry, just joking.
Oh.
The other piece of that is we're so blessed in this area with all the jobs that are available and all the great companies to work for. But if you don't have benefits, it's the number one reason that an employee will change jobs.
For benefits.
employee retention.
Employee
tool.
retention is key. So
Right.
there's a piece of it that, maybe it doesn't look all that affordable, but there's this other piece of it is that you just can't afford not to have it.
Right.
There's those
Right.
key
Return on
people.
investment.
Yeah, there's those key people that make your business just run day in and day out. So
Wow.
So how do you, switching gears from benefits for employees, let's switch to Medicare clients, which I know are your faves, right? How do you impact the lives of them?
okay, so Medicare is a fairly large beast. Medicare is full of all kinds of different costs and penalties and networks and no networks and drug plans and timelines. And so once you get into Medicare, your first time enrolling is kind of confusing. You get hit with tons of marketing.
Yeah, and Medicare people, they don't even know what they're doing. As a new Medicare recipient, I spent a ton of time on the phone just trying to deal with Medicare directly until Angel stepped in and boom, problem solved.
Thank you.
So, but it was interesting to
you.
me because even the people that work there didn't have mastery of a lot of their own protocols.
Yeah, it's personal. It's such personal planning. And so, when I sit down with my clients, it's always, how did it go? What worked? What didn't work? What hit? What
Right.
missed? Where are your doctors at now? Is there anything coming up? Are we looking at replacing any joints? What's happening? And in this last year, I had a few of my clients were diagnosed with cancer. Well, those are really big expenses.
Those are big, yeah.
Those are knockout expenses. And so changing their plans literally saved them thousands and thousands of dollars. And in retirement, every penny counts. So it's very important planning. I work with 10 carriers. I have 96 plans in King County alone.
Wow.
And so it's nice to have somebody sit down and advocate for you and listen to
Right.
you and shop for you. Keep in mind your budget, your physicians, your needs, your pharmacy, what's most important to you.
Angel, what kind of options are available for planning ahead for healthcare in retirement?
Okay, so healthcare in retirement, there's a few things you can do. There's a lot of talk about long-term care, which is important because a lot of us are facing our parents aging, and we see these long-term care expenses are nearly impossible to absorb. They're nearly impossible to save for as well. Long-term care coverage is something that's super important. There's some planning that we can do in Medicare along the way in terms of just those annual check-ins to see. It's amazing you can save thousands of dollars every year by changing your pharmacy or your drug plan, and you can do that every year. It's a quick, easy check-in. So there's all kinds of things that you can do to kind of bring those costs down.
Good to know. Angel, how do our listeners reach you?
You can ring me on my office line. It's 425-616-2867. Or you can email me at angel@trothandco.com. It's ANGEL@TROTHANDCO.com.
Angel, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Any special offers for our listeners?
Well, of course, I would love to meet everybody. So, I'm happy to do a complimentary review on your insurance plans.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Remember that all of our segments are available to watch at our YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about any of our guests, please subscribe. Join us after the break for some final thoughts and something fun to do this holiday.
Did you know when you pay rent, you're actually paying someone else's mortgage? Are you tired of missing out on owning your own home? Fact: homeowners on average have 40 times the financial net worth of renters. The Eastside Real Estate Team has been helping many first-time home buyers find and buy their first home. They specialize in customer service and put you first. They listen first to what you're looking for, and then they take the time to make sure their clients understand every aspect of the home buying process. If owning a home has been your dream, the Eastside Real Estate Team can help you. For a free, no-hassle consultation, call 425-200-4093 or find them online at the eastsiderealestateteam.com, a subsidiary of Keller Williams Realty in Bellevue.
Do you wonder where all your income is going, even though you're making good money? Doug at Get Priorities Straight will coach you to know where all your money is going, painlessly cut financial fat, and get your money serving you. Doug has spent over 20 years mentoring professionals and found personal finances to be hugely overlooked in every stage of life. If you want to learn more and get your money serving you, contact us at info@getprioritiesstraight.com for a confidential conversation with Doug. It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Is navigating your healthcare options challenging? Angel Barna with Troth and Company helps businesses and Medicare eligible individuals navigate often complex healthcare options. Let us be your partner in healthcare planning. As a broker, we are your advocate and work for you. Get non-biased, straightforward options by calling 425-616-2867. Troth and Company, your partner in healthcare planning. 425-616-2867.
Seattle, Tacoma, Antwerp. That's right. We're streamed worldwide on our app and on the web at 1150kknw.com.
Welcome back to Real Talk on 1150 KKNW. Let's get to our final thoughts for the day. Brian, before you start, though, I do want to bring back our first topic of the home, where the market's going.
That's what I'm circling back to.
Yeah, what?
Oh, exactly that.
Yeah, I can't help but think and reflect back to where we've been. And this conversation about recession, I think there has now been kind of a little bit of we missed it or we prevented
dodging the bullet.
And GDP is something that I think is going to be recorded differently moving forward. Our economy is doing really good. It's very healthy. It's very strong. So our next kind of recession is probably going to be one that looks more like a 1.5 GDP rather than negative GDP.
But here's the thing, too. We have such a robust economy here that we've always been fairly insulated. So when we talk recession, we're usually talking nationwide.
Right.
But look at our business here. Look at Microsoft, Amazon, the Google presence, Boeing, gosh, don't underestimate them.
Yep.
We have solid employment and, strong economy, which does an excellent job in insulating us. But even beyond that, the national picture, the people that seem to think they know, they're pushing it out farther and farther. We'll eventually have a recession. It's a normal cycle.
It is.
I think the impact here will be minimal.
Well, and we've talked about this before, but new construction is the only way you add new inventory.
Right.
Resale is resale. Okay. If we're having an increase of influx of migration here to Seattle, that means new households. And Brian and I talk back and forth about, build, baby, build. We've got to figure out a way to create affordable housing. The only way to do it is to create a large amount of supply. And there's just nothing on the horizon doing that. So
and that's largely a political issue. There is land available.
Yep.
And we all want to preserve our water, protect our water and preserve our forests. But, one of the things we're seeing now is municipalities moving away from single-family zoning to increase density in areas that are always developed.
Yeah, like you said in Oregon, right?
Oregon, there's legislation there to pretty much eliminate single-family zoning. We're seeing that all over the country.
I mean, the honest cost of materials are what they are, right? If we can build more and obviously do it smart. Like I've seen some great designs where they're utilizing pervious, is that right? Pervious surfaces.
Right.
They've got these containers, these vaults to hold the retention water. Like I've grown up in the Northwest. I love the sunshine. I love the rain. I love the trees, the green. So I'm not saying let's create this, what is it, Coruscant, Star Wars fans out there, right? Where it's just this big metal planet. But also too, we're a part of that ecosystem. And we can do it smartly, we can do it quickly, and we can do it cost effectively, and that will help with this housing issue that we there's no other way out of it. There is no other way out of it. We can't just bury our heads in the sand and stop doing it.
Yep. So one quick circle back here. We're talking about the market still strongly favoring sellers. Yes. I don't want the buyers out there to get discouraged. Dan and I are still very successful in finding homes that people love and are excited about, and even getting contingencies accepted. We've got a really strong track record. We'd love to talk to you about helping you with your housing needs.
As a matter of fact, I would say they've been told that the recession's right around the corner. That's no longer That's no longer something that we're seeing. So if you're a buyer that's on the fence, prices will continue to rise. Interest rates eventually are going to rise, whether it be next year or the year after that. So, Brian, what do you say? It's always
never been a better time to buy a home.
Never been a good time to buy a home.
So,
All
Dan,
right.
what's happening this week?
So before you guys head off for holidays, there is this really cool thing called Seattle Enchanted Christmas Light Maze, and it's down at T-Mobile Park all the way until December 29th. Eddie the Elf, mischievous little sprite, is hidden 8 gifts in the world's largest Christmas maze. My family and I, we're going to go check this out. It's down at T-Mobile Park. Google Seattle Enchantment Christmas. You'll find all the details that you need.
So that concludes our show for the week. We want to especially thank our guests, Doug and Angel, for taking time to speak with us. It was a great show, Dan.
Awesome. Hey, it's been really fun. Our first year.
Our first
in the
year.
books, right?
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
So don't forget, home is where love resides, memories are created, friends and family belong, and laughter never ends. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.